Okay, we're starting our live today on a topic that I'm probably going to get a bit of pushback from, but let's just say Ellen and I really don't care because we're here to tell the truth. We're here to not necessarily coddle people. And I just want to make one thing clear at the start. Okay. My husband was a natural born medium. Okay. My best friends, they're all mediums. Been in this field for 36 years now. Okay. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm not saying I'm perfect. What I am saying is I do my research. I go talk to people. I take classes. Well, let's just say I'm guided to people or to teachers. I just don't believe everybody, okay? And my gift. It's my everybody's gifted. Okay, so if a medium tells you that mediumship is a gift, not true. You are a soul, and therefore you are a psychic, and you are a medium. Okay, it doesn't mean you came here to do that, but let's just make that clear. Okay, to be a soul is to be psychic, is to be as psychic as anybody walking the planet. It's just a question of did you come in here to serve other people, right? That's the only difference. So I've been in this field a long time and I've seen things that would make your hair curl, okay? And I've seen entities and all kinds of stuff. Worked with physical mediums. That's a whole other story. Work with managed psychic fairs, managed psychics themselves for the store that I used to work at because I had the experience too. So I just want to make it clear that I love mediums, but I'm very disturbed by what I'm hearing out there, especially because what I'm experiencing is different. And what others that we're teaching and helping are experiencing different. Okay. So I can't let that stand. I can't let that go because people are being hurt and because I deal with people reaching out to me after having a medium tell them that their loved one is earthbound. And we're going to talk about later why I've just learned that that's not true. More than likely, it's not true at all. While the whole earthbound concept needs to be re-examined, and I feel in time, maybe in a year or two, maybe sooner, the evidence is going to be shown that that's really not true. But that's again, we'll talk a little bit about that later. But right now, my work is all about helping people, not hurting them, and telling them the truth. Okay. And again, there are reputable mediums out there, they're in their integrity, and some of them just don't know that because they were taught or they believe because they read it somewhere that, oh, if somebody's having contact through the veil, their partner must be earthbound. Especially if, like some of our students, they're having profound contact. I'm talking about physical contact. I'm talking about daily interaction, okay? Folks, that is possible. That is happening. I've had somebody reach out to me who was a devout Christian and was shocked when her husband came through and started making love with her. Okay, so she thought she was losing her mind. And some people who find us say them too. They were having all these experiences and thought, am I crazy? Like, what's going on? That's how most people are going to think when they're having these incredible experiences. Why? Because our society is telling them that. And I'm really disappointed when I hear mediums themselves telling people that. And then come to find out that there are groups of them that are actually kind of, in a way, like trying to push back against direct spirit communication and people learning how to be their own mediums. Why? Why? Because it affects their bottom line. They're looking out for their own self-interest. But as I've said in my group, Soulmates in the Afterlife, and in my academy, The Spirit told me a long time ago the day would come when people would get their own answers and they wouldn't need mediums. They wouldn't need a psychic. That's just what's already kind of happening. Okay. And I didn't believe it at first when Alan started coming through to me either, because I never was told this was possible. And I'm a channeler and he is a medium. And so when contact started happening, I started hearing him, and he started appearing to other people and doing all these things, like healing them. Okay. Does that sound like an earthbound spirit? You know? And then he's saying, and let's say it was, he'd go, what's wrong with that? Like, because everything he was doing was amazing and helpful, healing people, helping them, guiding them, just like he did when he was in a body. He says now he can help more people because he's not in a body. He can help more people because he's not trapped in a body. So he goes out to people when they call out to him. We have clients who do that, who say, yeah, I reached out to you, Pam, because Alan told me to call you. Or they called on him for help and he came through. He's saying that we got to understand that spirit has always been able to engage through the veil. Always. This is not a new thing. What's happened is people were afraid to speak up because guess what? Those who did probably got locked up in a mental institution. If you say that you're talking to your dead husband and he's turning on the lights in your house or knocking on the door or whatever they're doing, right? Like, do you understand that if you go for a psychology evaluation, they will ask you, do you see things that aren't there? Or do you hear things that aren't there? And if you answer yes, any of this, they are going to get you psychiatric help. That's the world we live in. Okay. So folks like you and me are having contact, or who want the contact. Okay. You got to know your friends are not obviously the psychologists, but also some of the mediums are not your friends either, because they either don't know this, and so they're just going to say, oh, must mean your loved one's earthbound, right? Or they know that they're not earthbound, but they don't want you to go into this because then you're not going to come back to see them. All right. So it's kind of like we have to be in our own world. We have to be I call it, in our academy, we call it the supernatural love train, the love train. Okay. That stay in your train. Don't go into somebody else's train. Don't go into somebody else's lane. Don't expect, you can hope, but don't expect that every medium is going to understand that what you're going through, what you're experiencing is real. Okay. So this is what I'm going to say. And they could be spot on about how they're reading, what they're saying about your loved one. And by the way, stick around till the end because I'm going to share an incredible true story of one of our, the people that we know, one of our students. Just one of many amazing stories, okay, just to inspire you of what's possible, and Alan says, what's possible is anything. You're only limited by your belief system. But this is what we're up against, okay? And I don't want to, throw people into negativity about it, but I had to withdraw my endorsement of a medium when I heard that this person was telling their clients that their people who were who were having this contact, that their partners were earthbound. Like, how can I let that go? How can I not withdraw my endorsement? And the irony was, this person said, well, I don't need your endorsement. And I thought to myself, okay, well, that's fine. Great. I know. Why are you upset that I withdrew it then? Why are you going online and telling everybody, that, smearing my name? Like, what does that tell you? It's ridiculous. Okay. It's all, and I just want to protect you folks because heck, you're grieving. So any spiritual teacher or medium who gets out there and rants about, I don't know, how they feel they're being treated, they're not being responsible. First of all, I don't get all worked up. I know there's no competition. I know there's nothing to fear. I know that I'm safe. I know that whatever somebody energetically throws at me, it bounces right back to them. And I feel sorry for them. Alan used to note that too, because he'd have people psychically try to, attack him too, right? And then he even said to me, he says, am I so powerful that when they do that, they're being hurt? Because he would find out that bad things started happening to them. And I said, honey, they're just getting what they gave out. That's really law of the universe. You get back what you put out. And so I never curse anybody. I bless them. I bless them and say, oh my God, they must be really broken or troubled. I don't like what they do. It doesn't mean I don't get annoyed or whatever, but I don't like freak out. I don't. What's the point? And I'm certainly not going to bash people to you like this person publicly named me. Anybody who does that, they're showing you who they are. But I don't even care about me, literally. I don't care what anybody says about me. I don't like it, but I signed up for this. Spirit told me that the people who would be most against my story and what we're helping people to do would actually be mediums. And when they told me that, I couldn't believe it at first. I said, well, why would they do that? Wouldn't they celebrate that, look, here's the evidence of the afterlife and people are having contact, right? And don't get me wrong, a lot of mediums do understand and they support it. So if you find somebody like that, like, hold on to them. That person is genuine. That person is in their integrity. But I'm sorry, I've had a lot of people contact me feeling broken about being told that they're not only that their loved one was earthbound, but their loved one said, oh, I'm bringing you somebody new and you need to move on. And when I hear that, I can feel Alan get so agitated. Don't think that the other side never gets upset. This is one thing he says they get livid about. Why would someone on the other side, knowing that their loved one, we're talking about partners, okay, knowing that their partner is in deep grief and already feels lost and maybe even abandoned, okay, why would they come through and say, oh, I'm going to bring you somebody new and you need to move on? That there couldn't be anything more cruel or hurtful. And he said they know that. And even if, let us pretend it's true that your destiny was to meet somebody else. Let's just pretend. It's not always the case, but let's pretend that was the case, okay? Even if that was true, do they need to tell you that? Why would they tell you that? This is what he explained to me. He said what they would do instead would facilitate that if they knew on a soul level that what that was, planned for you. They wouldn't tell you that at your weakest moment. Tell you, oh, don't worry about it. You're going to meet somebody new. Would you tell a mother who just lost their child that, don't worry about it, you're going to get pregnant in another year? It's the same thing, people. That would be cruel. And it's not necessary, not true. I mean, well, even if it's true that they're going to get pregnant again, or you're going to meet somebody else, they don't need to tell you that. I had somebody come to me who was a medium, who was devastated when a famous medium told them that they needed to let their partner go, this partner who she's having contact with daily, that you're holding him back. So you can't believe somebody who's famous. You can't, it's hard. It's just tough out there. Okay, it just is. So, and this is why in our group, I really caution people that if you cannot find somebody you 100% trust, that they're legit and they're not going to tell you your loved one's earthbound. Okay, you're better off not getting a reading, because I've seen too many people literally emotionally destroyed by a toxic message like that. Okay, I'm not talking about giving evidence like that. That's a different thing. Great if they can give you evidence, and I don't want to burst your bubble on that too. But let me tell you the truth about this, that they're going to get upset at me. Again, there are mediums who are legit who don't do what I'm about to tell you, okay? But I've even heard a medium who I highly respect, she's a teacher. In one of her things on YouTube, she was saying that when she reads, the other side, sometimes the loved one doesn't want to talk. They're not communicative, okay? And that happens. Maybe they don't like the media. They just don't want to talk. Maybe they're not expressive. So here's what she's saying in her teaching, okay? She says, well, what I do is I read their energy, okay? I'm not talking to them. I'm going to read their energy. So she's basically telling her students, they're not talking to you, read their energy. Here's the problem with that. You're not going to know that they're actually not talking to your loved one. They're simply reading them. Just like a psychic can read your best friend and tell you, literally, if the psychic's really good, the psychic could literally tell you all the secrets of your friend. Really, there's no secrets in the universe, folks. Now, a reputable medium or psychic isn't going to go that far. They're going to set limit, right? They're going to say, I'm only going to share what's appropriate. But in truth, they could tell you everything about that person, specific details. I remember once when I was really out there, and I don't do this anymore, I could tell somebody the dream they had the night before, the whole detail. I did that to one friend, and he totally freaked out because it occurred to him, oh my God, she can see everything about me. He didn't know that I wasn't doing that. Could I have done that? Yeah. Can some psychics do that? Hell yeah. Okay, not all of them that good. Okay, but there are no secrets in the universe, folks. So what does this mean? And again, I've heard this medium teacher and another medium say, yes, in truth, we could just read them and get all the information as if we're talking to them, okay? Like the details, like even how they died, their names, on and on, whatever. Because that's possible, okay? And again, this doesn't mean they're talking to them. And that's why, I don't want you to worry about, well, are they really, reading them or not? I'm more concerned about them telling you that your loved one is earthbound and that they want you to move on, okay? Because there's not going to be any way for you to tell whether they're really talking to them except those telltale signs, okay? And those are the only things that are really going to hurt you. Okay, I don't care whether they give you evidence. Fine, they give you evidence, and evidential mediums will say it's all about the evidence. Okay, fine, but it's also like, don't hurt people. Don't put people into a worse crisis than when they came to you. And I know their mediums can destroy people's lives. I had somebody come to me after a medium had told her she had killed her husband. Why? Because she had to make the very difficult decision to take him off life support after he'd been in a car accident and was basically brain dead. So as soon as the client walked in the door, the medium says to her, you killed your husband, and started to berate her. Okay. Thank God she didn't kill herself. But she couldn't drive home after that reading for an hour. She was shaking and in a bad shape, and her friend brought her to me. Now, I'm not a medium, folks, okay? I don't know why she didn't, but this was a client of mine, and the client trusted me, so my client brought her to me. But when the other side wants to come through, they will use whoever. So her husband started really talking to me and giving her evidence, and it wasn't anything spectacular. It was things like his favorite color, he showed me, and different things he showed me. But most importantly, she could feel him in the room. And he was so upset. And in this case, he said to her, okay, because remember, this was like a long time ago. It's like 20 years ago. I don't know. It was a long time ago. and nobody's talking about interdimensional relationships. So he's telling her through me, lovingly, I want you to know that you did the right thing, and I'm not dead, and we are going to be together again. That said, I also want you to know that if you meet someone and you happen to fall in love, that you have my blessing, because I only want you to be happy, right? And I don't want you to even think twice, okay? But I am going to see you again and everything's fine. She left that reading changed, like completely changed. But notice he didn't say, well, I just want you to move on. Let me go. Get over it. He said very gently, you might meet someone. And only if you want to, then go ahead. And he reassured her that they would meet again. Okay, so that's kind of how to deliver it. If that's really what they're saying, I knew that was what he was saying, okay? There was no question in my mind. He was throwing visions to me clairvoyantly, and then he came through and put it claircognizant, like I heard the message come into my head. And it was a very straightforward, simple reading. Okay. So I'm just saying there's a lot of damage happening out there. Mediumship is much more, I'm going to use this word, it's like treacherous compared to a psychic reading. Because psychic reading, they're just saying, oh, yeah, you're going to get that job, or, telling you about your best friend and what they're, I don't know, all this kind of petty stuff about your life. No, okay, it's not petty, but they're not telling you these kind of things that could completely destroy you. Like, oh, your husband wants you to move on. All right. So they're not doing much harm. I mean, they can't do harm, Alan's saying to me. He was not comfortable doing mediumship for this very reason himself, because he knew what was at stake. And he was gifted. He was gifted. And he said it always bothered him his entire career. He said, how do I know for sure I'm really talking to their loved one or I'm reading them? Because he was such a strong psychic that he could read people, right? And he knew that he could just read the deceased person and tell them everything. But it was hard. And then it's hard when the client's there wanting that, and he didn't want to disappoint them. It's not like he didn't want to refund them. He wouldn't have a problem doing that. He said he didn't like the pressure of that because there's so much emotion attached to that, obviously, compared to a regular psychic reading. And he didn't want to disappoint people. And he knew that if that for some reason the loved one didn't come through, that they might be hurt about that too, right? So he didn't like that. He didn't like, and in fact, Alan's saying now he didn't like dealing with emotion for other reasons. That was his personal issue. But all his life he wanted to answer that question. How do we really know the medium is talking to the dead? And interestingly enough, after he returned to me, on YouTube, he directed me to find a medium who was talking, a presentation she had done. And I said, why am I watching this? And he goes, listen, just wait. And so I was watching, listening. And finally, somebody in the audience says, she asked Alan's question of the medium. She said, how do we know for sure the medium is actually talking to our loved one? I was like, oh my God, I mean, he's going to get and the medium said, she said, actually, they have to train, and this medium was trained at the Arthur Findlay College. They said they have to learn how to discern that. And she admitted that it can be difficult. Okay. But that, yes, the medium could just read the dead, like I just said to you. Okay. And get all the information. Okay. And so you have to trust that the medium is in integrity and isn't slipping into that. But Alan says today the challenge is that because of, shows like Tyler Henry, right? Like all these famous psychics, mediums, there's a lot of pressure on mediums to deliver. And so, if they have to say to you, I'm sorry, they're not talking, you're gonna, he says, you're gonna get a bad rap, because the other mediums are not doing that. So he says there's so much pressure compared to when he was working even as a psychic, that it's this is why. So they'll want to give you something, right? So just like that medium who said, well, if they're not talking to me, I will read their energy and hopefully they'll start talking to me. She never said what would happen if they didn't start talking to her. I'm going to assume that she's not going to say, oh, I'm sorry, they're not talking to me, right? Because she already delivered the reading of the deceased person. Because remember, they're not dead, people. Your loved ones are more alive now that they don't have a body than when they were in a body. Okay. They're more alive, and their energy can be read because, like I said, there are no secrets in the universe. None. You can't hide who you are. You can't hide what you do. You can't hide what you've done. None of it. None of it. There is, when you cross over, you're going to see that for yourself. But people who have crossed over to the other side will tell you that. There are no secrets. So that's the other challenge. Okay. So I'm not saying that the medium you've seen is not talking to your loved one. I'm not saying that they're reading them. I don't know if they are. And you might not know either. Sandra Champlain, in one of her YouTube video, podcast or video, actually, she was just filming herself a year ago. I checked it out just before I was a guest on her podcast. I went to check out her podcast, her YouTube channel, and I landed on that one. It was perfect. And I wrote her later. I go, oh my God, I so agree with everything you said. And she went on a rant about that, on the things that some mediums were saying that didn't know what they were talking about and how they were hurting people. And she agreed with me. She goes, yes, there's a lot of poorly trained mediums, or they're not giving the right information, or both. And she was upset about it. But, because she ends up being contacted by these people too. People who are literally ready to kill themselves because they had a bad reading. So I'm sorry, people who tell me, this is negative, it should be all love and light. You don't know what the damage is going on, or you would never say that. We're not trying to smear all mediums. I want to repeat that. But these bad mediums, the bad apples, are making it harder for the rest of the people who are doing good work, who aren't making this stuff up. There are mediums who say, and I've heard from our students or clients, oh, the medium said, oh my goodness, your loved one is still with you. Like, wow, I didn't know that was possible. Like Josh Lewis, who is one of the few mediums I still recommend. He was astonished when one of our students went to him for a session, and he could see, because he could see that their partner was so present in their life, and he'd never seen that before. Okay. He didn't jump to the conclusion, which he could have, and said, oh, your husband must be earthbound. He took a look at that, and he later reached out to me, and he goes, oh, I see that one of your students are having this incredible contact. And what great work you're doing, Pam. I didn't know this was possible. Right? Now that is a legitimate medium who's curious and says, wow, really? How amazing. I didn't know that they could be so present and with someone. And they've crossed over, because Josh knew that her husband wasn't earthbound. He's one of the few mediums who completely gets it, okay? Because he's worked with our students and he's seen it himself. He says the people that have worked with us, he told me later, the people who've studied with us, worked with us, their loved ones come through so strongly. Okay? And he says this is why. Because we support them. We're teaching them that this is all real. And because when we believe, we help our loved ones come through. Okay? If we doubt, have fear, have fixed expectations of how this is going to happen, then we're kind of blocking them, especially when we doubt. So with our students, I'm always saying, if you have any form of contact, just claim it. Claim it. Don't, because the minute you say, oh, I don't know, if you're shutting the door. And Spirit has said this. And I've actually heard other mediums say the same thing. When you doubt, you're closing the door to the other side. So if you want to establish that connection, you have to go all in, because just like on the other side, thoughts create. It's just that in this reality, you don't see it instantly. It takes time, but it will manifest. Okay, it will manifest. But your thoughts of doubt, they will close the door to the other side. They will shut the door. Okay. Fear, doubting what you're experiencing, being afraid that, you might make contact, and then also having a certain expectation. Well, I want it to be this way. Now you're narrowing the window, right? And your expectation is taking the room, the space of what could manifest. So we teach all about that. Okay. So I just want you to be safe out there. That's all we're concerned about. Okay. Is that people are not hurt. Somebody asked me about another medium. I'm not saying that they are or they're not. That person's legit or not. I don't know. I will tell you that somebody, I think it was Josh, somebody else told me that I really respect. Somebody else told me they were devastated to hear somebody, a medium, another well-known medium that they really thought was genuine, sometimes cheats. Like they have people, like they do these big events. And so I think when you do a live event, sometimes maybe that's more possible. I don't know. But they said they were just devastated when they heard that this person cheated. And again, because the pressure is there, especially when somebody is world famous, a lot of money's writing it or on it. And if it's a TV show, sorry, that gets a little sketchy there, because it's not like the networks are like have high morals, like. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt. And that's why we encourage you to just go direct. Okay, get a mediumship reading, and just be on the alert if they tell you your partner's earthbound, or you keep holding them back, or and forget this whole thing about there's no marriage in heaven and there's no really no, there's everything in heaven and more and more. Okay. So yeah, somebody's saying about a certain medium that they've been good for her, but that he's behind on many things like interdimensional. Yeah, most of them don't get about the interdimensional relationships because they're not in one. Okay, and think about it. Why should a medium who isn't having the experience be all gung ho and be a cheerleader for you can continue your relationship through the veil if they don't know how to somehow ride on the coattail of that, right? And I hate to sound negative, but that's kind of the truth. Like, why should they encourage you to go off and not need them? And the truth is, mediums, the average medium doesn't make a lot of money, and I know that because you cannot only do a certain number of readings. Mediumship is tougher. When I used to do psychic fairs, I could read like 22 people, and yeah, be tired, but I wasn't wiped out because I'm spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally strong, and a lot of people are not. You're tested on every level. Okay, so but mediumship is a little different than psychic reading because you're dealing with emotion. You're not doing that so much with psychic readings. Okay, so yeah, and there's some amazing mediums. Okay, and some of them are are true. Okay, and they're at least open, even if they don't totally understand the whole interdimensional relationship thing. They don't have their limiting beliefs about it. Okay, but I just want you to know that those of us who are in these relationships, we're out on the frontier where few people have gone before, or at least few people have talked about it before. Okay. So we can't expect the spiritual community to welcome us with open arms, especially those who stand in their mind, okay, because they have scarcity consciousness when they believe that they're going to lose out. And that's ridiculous. Okay. That said, let me talk about why I now am convinced very few souls are earthbound, because I've been researching and studying out of body experience, and what I've discovered is it's absolutely possible to have a near death experience, meaning cross the other side, okay, while out of body. without dying. And people are doing that and coming back with information, okay, about what the afterlife is really about. And I think soon, I don't know, maybe in a couple of years, maybe sooner, I don't know what the time frame, but soon we will have more actual information corroborated by different people who journey there. But this is starting to happen. Okay, so what we are experiencing as that we're mistakenly labeling earthbound, spirits, is that spirits have actually always been able to be closer to the earth plane. Okay, because let me explain why. You're a soul. You're not this physical person with this ego construct. You're gonna keep the essence of it, right? But it'll be like the improved version of. It's not a negative ego. Your personality remains the same for the most part. So when you drop the body, you really expand into the soul that you are. Okay, that soul that you are can travel through all dimensions of time and space, all realms. And there are realms beyond the heavenly realm. This is what these out of body people are reporting. Okay, there's realms beyond that you don't even know about. There's universes beyond universes. Okay, so of course, if you cross over, you can come visit the earth realm. Okay, of course you can. People out of body can interact with the earth realm, can try to like appear to their friend in real time and jump up and down and say, "Do you see?" And some people, remarkably, if they're intuitive enough or spiritually, I'd say their vibration's higher enough, might even perceive them like, "Oh, like I saw a flash of my friend," or feel something, right? And they can even, again, while out of body, this is not a deceased person, somebody out of body can even like maybe move something. Okay. It's not easy, but they can learn how to do that. They can learn how to manipulate things on the earth realm. Okay. So if they can do that, of course your loved one could do the same. That's why a lot of people are saying, "Oh, they turn on my lights and they leave me signs and they move things around the house." And I don't know if you've noticed, but more people are reporting this. Okay, so they've always been able to be closer to the earth realm, interact if they wanted to. The reason you haven't heard a lot about it is because until recently, most people just didn't believe. Right? The average person out there, you go talk to them, they'll look at you and me like we're nuts, right? They'll go, "That's impossible. That's crazy." Okay. So if their loved one crossed after sending a few signs, why would they keep coming through? They're sending the few signs just to try to get their attention. "Hey, I'm not dead. I'm here." But if their loved one, after a while, just says, "Oh, they're dead. That's it. They're dead. They're gone." They're not going to keep knocking on the door. What for? What for? But now, more than ever before, people are wondering, well, maybe I can stay connected. Maybe I can keep communicating. And if it's a partner, maybe I can even experience them like physically. We have people experiencing their partners physically, seeing them 3D briefly, but seeing them anyway. Okay. Because they believe it's possible. Belief creates reality, people. So the reason we haven't seen this is because people haven't believed until recently. But as soon as you open up to the possibility and say, well, maybe I can, guess what? You've opened the door to the other side. Rather than thinking, "Oh, they're dead. I've lost them. They're gone. I have to wait." When you think a thought, it creates a dimensional space, a reality. Okay. Keep saying to yourself, "They're gone. I'm never going to see them again." You're actually creating that experience for yourself, which then is going to block communication. Okay. So it only has been recently, like maybe in the last, I don't know, few years, whatever. So please do not think that the mediums know everything. God bless them. They don't. They're not. They have, most of them have not explored the afterlife. I mean, literally gone to the other side, and 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 not just once, but many times, like some of these people are doing, and getting information about. There's a lot of things I could tell you that would, you know, blow a lot of things apart, like that the Akashic records are not really what you think they are. If they're just a small sliver of records, you know, there's really a greater the record of, you know, bigger records, let's just say, of everything. And but that's another story. But a lot of things are probably going to be debunked in the years to come as people actually go get direct evidence of the other side. And thank God for that. Thank God for that. This is what my guides told me decades ago. They said the day will come when people won't need psychics, they don't need mediums, that people understand they are their own medium, they are their own psychic. And back then they said people should be, who those who feel guided to should work on developing themselves spiritually. Okay. So now I want to close with a story of one of our Academy members. And before I do that, I want to mention that our Academy is, we got a special bonus class that's available for people who sign up for a year, that ends on Friday. And if you sign up for a yearly membership, and some people have already done, and they're getting this bonus class already, but we're going to be teaching a channeling your soulmate course in a different way that I've ever done before. I'm really excited about it. But to do that, you got to sign up by Friday. The yearly membership is only $197. Okay, and I know some people maybe can't afford that, get it. So we also have a membership monthly for $19. I am not getting rich on this. And we are not a cult. I didn't even want to do this because I don't really like to be out here getting rocks thrown at me for speaking the truth. I'd rather just stay home and have a wonderful time with my husband, but I agreed to teach and help people. Okay. So yeah, Lyra says, sounds like a much better world when we all learn to connect to the afterlife. Absolutely. This is what we're moving to. And even some psychics have even said that the veil was going to come down. Well, guys, how does it come down? How does the veil come down unless people start going direct? Does that make any sense? I've heard somebody who talks to the angels say that the angels said, yes, we're going to be walking on the earth plane and seeing all our deceased loved ones and the angels and the guides. Like, it's no big deal. Like, it's so common. Well, how does that happen, people? Okay, they're not earthbound. There is a sort of kind of a waiting room, if you will. And a lot of souls want to observe what's happening on the planet right now. That's why they're staying close. And also because some of them, like the people that we work with, are wanting to connect with them, right? Wanting to continue a relationship. So of course they're going to stay close. But they always could stay close because a soul can go wherever it wants to go. They're multidimensional. What does that mean? It means you are not just one person. A soul can be many persons. And in fact, that's what past lives are about. You're having simultaneous past lives right now. You just can't recall them. Otherwise, you go a little bit crazy. But you're having these multiple existences. Quantum physics has shown us that. A few mediums understand this, and they even teach that we're multidimensional. That's why your loved one can stay here. You cannot hold them back. You really think you're so powerful that you could hold back a limitless soul who merges with all that they are, and you can keep them earthbound and not be in their full soul body? Of course you can't. They can choose to, but most of them don't, because they know that they can help us more if they cross over and just come back and be and interact. They can do that because we believe that. Okay. Leanne says you have to have 5 limos, 3 mansions, and 2 jet planes to be a cult. No, I'm still in debt, and I only charge $19. And by the way, a lot of people we let into our academy on partial and full scholarships. I don't think cult leaders do that. They charge you like $3,000 for a special prayer that's going to bring enlightenment. Okay, so, and Liza says, I definitely feel that people who are having interdimensional relationships are at the forefront of a revolution that will change collective consciousness, their outlook on life after physical death. Yes, you and I, folks who are in this, we are by our actions helping other people do the same, and we're breaking new ground. But you can't expect people to like it, okay? Or they're gonna tell us we're crazy. That's what happens with all revolutions until the revolution takes hold and changes consciousness, and everybody goes, oh, well, this is the normal thing. Okay, so what was once crazy will later be deemed as completely normal, but right now we're on the brink of that. Okay, so I want to close with the beautiful, inspiring journey of Donna and Les, who are in our academy. To me, what makes their story especially meaningful is that Donna only came to us about, I think it was a month into her grief. Okay, a month. Okay. And her husband was so intent on reassuring her that he was with her. And boy, have they had contact, but it didn't come. I see you guys in the live chat. It didn't come by them being passive and just hoping and waiting, by Donna just hoping and waiting. I mean, both of them really applied themselves, because in our classes, Alan is helping the partner on the other side come through. I've had that confirmed by too many mediums. I don't even care if anybody believes it or not. I don't care, frankly. He comes through and helps, and they're having class at the same time we're having class. They're having class on the other side. So let me just read their story rather than me talk about it. This is Donna's story. And Les. I have to say, hi, Les. I have to always acknowledge Les. When Les passed suddenly in my arms on the 16th of March, 2023, I didn't want to live. I couldn't see a way of carrying on without him. The day I went home to collect his clothes to take to the funeral director, when I opened the door, I smelt and felt Les strongly in our house. Soon afterward, I came across Pam and Alan's Supernatural Love Academy. I have no idea how I found their website and then their Facebook group, but I believe Les was guiding me. Since joining the Academy, we continue to watch many of the videos and attunements and study within the Academy on a daily basis. We attend all the lives on Zoom, if possible, and watch them over and over. We've also had several private sessions with Pam and Alan. Les is amazing. He is so strong and determined that we can and will continue our relationship through the veil, and so am I. During our time together, we were never, ever apart. We did everything together and worked together before Les suffered a brain hemorrhage in September of 2019. From then on, I cared for Les 24/7 by myself. Now, folks, that's 3.5 years that Donna took care of her husband by herself. We are a strong team, built from love and trust. We're best friends and we're soulmates. Every day, Les shows me that he is with me by sending signs. He plays with Alexa, changing the volume and the songs, and does the same to our TV. Les makes the house lights flicker, and he loves to play with electronics. He draws shapes like hearts, guitars, flowers, butterflies, arrows, and stick figures in our carpet, on our bedding, and towels. It's amazing. The love balloon from our wedding day keeps filling up. It deflates, then it reinflates on a regular basis. We can hear when Les is placing air into the balloon, and it's magical. The balloon moves and makes noises as it reinflates. We have a wash and dry toilet that Les likes to play with, giving visitors an unexpected wash or a dry, or sometimes not allowing the toilet to flush or flushing it before they finish. On Les's first attempt with the toilet, his energy came through so strong that the water sprayed up and onto and across the ceiling, down the radiator, soaking the floor and soaking me as well. But that's not all. Les also interacts with my mom and my sister, Lynn. If they don't say hi to him when they enter our home, Les makes the music go really loud until they do. They also have to say, see you later when they leave, or Les will let them know about it. Les plays with their phones, especially my sister's phone. It stops working or makes noises. Les has placed photos on her phone in the past. My sister regularly banters with Les just like they used to, especially when she is on our wash and dry toilet. When my mom, who has trouble hearing, is watching TV, Les will sometimes turn the volume down. Sometimes our lights go up and down on our dimmer switch. Once we were all having dinner and the lights went down. When my sister ate Les's favorite ice cream, the lights kept flashing until she finished it. And once my mom and sister were talking loudly, Alexa said, "I'm sorry, I can't hear the music," which was so funny. Les also interacts with people who come to our house. Our neighbor came in one night. Les turned Alexa on and started flashing the lights to say hi. Fortunately, our neighbor is a believer and she didn't run away. Les used to do things to my grief therapist's phone. She had her phone turned off and it would turn on and become red hot in her pocket. Another time, she had left it turned off in her bag, and then her bag suddenly started vibrating, and her phone turned on and played music. Thank goodness my therapist also believes and didn't run out the door. When we are out, I ask Les to be in any photos that are taken, and he is always present in them. I have even seen Les full 3D physical, standing in our bedroom, our bathroom, kitchen, and hallway about 12 times up to now. It's a sort of blink and you miss it moment, but last time I got to see him when he was wearing what he was wearing when Les materialized for a few seconds. I can feel Les touching me. He is around my hair, face, and ears a lot. He moves my earrings and makes my chain bracelet levitate. It's amazing to watch. I hear Les all the time. We chat and laugh together. I know it's Les, as nobody can make me laugh like he can. Sometimes Les will tell me to be quiet and relax. He's always telling me, stay in the now, Donna, over and over again. Every day, Les brings his energy through me, making my face, ears, and neck go bright red. This also happens when I eat his favorite foods. We have blended completely in bed on several occasions. Yes, the supernatural sex experience is unexplainable. The love, passion, and a feeling of orgasmic electricity floating around in blissful, pure, unconditional love is out of this world. We cuddle and kiss most nights in bed. Les says it's every night, but sometimes I can't feel him because of my state of mind. Regardless, I feel Les wrapping himself around me, keeping me safe and warm. I have also seen Les on several occasions in bed beside me, and when that happens, it is so special. A couple of times, I've been able to touch him, feel the skin on his chest, his face, and kiss him. It's beautiful. Since joining the Academy in April of 2023, we have grown and learned a lot. We are determined to maintain our bond and connection and to continue deepening our relationship through the veil. Thank you, Pam and Alan, for everything, for helping us, guiding us, and helping us to understand that this and so much more is possible. Without the Academy and private coaching from Pam and Alan, I literally would not be here. I wouldn't be here finding new ways to continue our love and marriage through the veil as we strengthen our connection with each passing day. Okay. So thank you, Donna and Les, for sharing. One day I will have both of them on and interview them on camera because they're willing to talk about it. Just the other day, I was talking to Donna in a session, and it was funny because the lights were getting brighter, and Donna's face was getting more flushed, and we knew it was Les, Les making his presence known. So to me, that says it all. Okay, like you can have this contact within a month. It really depends on your loved one on the other side, how determined and strong they are. Like, are they able to psychically project? But the good news is that if we are working on ourselves, that they're motivated to learn. But if we're not, why should they make the effort? It's there's no point, Ellen says. But the minute you say, okay, I want to, and then you're willing to work on shifting your limiting beliefs and fears and issues to raise your vibration, then of course they're going to pull out, he says they'll pull out all the stops. But otherwise, there would be no point. Um, but you can change your mind anytime. You can decide now, I want to do this, even if you weren't sure before. Or you can even pause and say, I got to think this over. Fine. There's no, you know, deadline to this. Okay. But yes, as Dominique says, what an inspiring story. We too can work towards such an ongoing relationship. Yes. And everybody's journey is going to be unique. Okay. Everybody's unique. You can't compare yourself to Les and Donna. Um, Les is an incredible soul, and I would say somebody who comes through that strongly, because we have other people in our academy whose partners are really strong. And if they come through really strong, they usually kind of we're a little bit ahead of the curve to begin with, on a psychic level. So they came, they're got an advantage, but doesn't mean that any other soul couldn't learn. But again, they're all at different levels. You and I are all at different levels, right? So that's why you can't compare yourself to anybody else. You're on your own journey. All I'm here to tell you is that it is possible, but it's up to us to work on ourselves, right? It's you and I. We only can control us. We can't control what they're doing or where they're at. You work on you, okay? This is a co-created relationship. All relationships are like that, even in the physical. It's not one-sided, is it? You have a unique chemistry, unique relationship, unique give and take. That's just how it is. So if you're negative, fearful, you have a lot of resentment, you have a lot of trauma, that's going to impact your relationship. It wouldn't if you're in a body, right? Well, same thing when they're on the other side. They're not like so omnipresent, so powerful that they can override our limiting beliefs and our fears. They can't. They got to work with them. They got to work around them. So we're just telling you what this is about. Nobody has to believe this. And if you want to explore it, go ahead. If you're going to take a mediumship class, that would be better to me than having a mediumship reading. But be sure the mediumship teacher isn't going to teach you that souls are earthbound if they're having contact. Okay, you don't want to be with a teacher like that. Ideally, you want to learn from someone who themselves are having a relationship through the veil, right? Because why would that be important? Well, hell, because if they are having it, they can teach that. If they're not, then how can they teach that, right? He says, showing me like they're going to be able to, he said, like a frequency, like you pick up on a teacher affects their students, through imparting beliefs. So that's why you want to be discerning about who you study with. I am not against anybody taking classes. I just know that we have had students come to us who took classes from very well-known, respected teachers, and they were still not making contact. Okay, so I'm just saying, putting out there that the mediumship class may not in itself help you make contact unless the teacher is teaching you how to clear your limiting beliefs, and I don't think many of them do that. I've heard psychic development teachers say as a PS to their students, oh, by the way, you need to work on yourself work on your development, personal development. You need to work on your issue. That's all they say. Like, you need to work on yourself. They don't do it for you. They don't teach you how to do that. We do that. Okay. We help you do that. So it's not just about opening up psychically. What Spirit told me is this, and now I know from out of body experience studies, okay? You are a soul who is already 100% psychic. You don't need to add anything to yourself. You were born completely equipped. You are right now, okay? You just have limiting beliefs that you need to take a class, that it's special and all that kind of baloney that you need to get rid of. If you were to shift that, you would step into all that you are, and there you go. Okay, so classes are just sort of permission slips that give you, again, give you permission, and they can be useful to give you permission. Oh, maybe I can be psychic because I took a class. Great. But guess what? You didn't need the class to do that. But okay, if the class helps you believe that, great. More power to you. But you already are complete. That's why if you awaken as a soul and have a near-death experience, or have a controlled near-death experience, you're going to start opening up and without a class, because you become all that you truly are. And all that you truly are is profoundly psychic and connected to everyone you love on the other side. Because you always remain connected, even while in a body, even when they cross over, cannot not be connected. Okay, so while we're here, say we're not bashing mediums. Please don't send me hate. The only mediums who are going to get mad at me are the mediums who are doing exactly what we're telling you they shouldn't be doing. All the other mediums I know say, right on, Pam, like, you tell it like it is, because that's what they're facing too. When they get clients coming to them who they have to course correct and say, no, your loved one's not earthbound. What are you talking about? No, they really are here, and they want to continue with you. Okay, the reputable mediums are in our corner, and they're concerned about their own industry, because it is an industry, and they want to protect people too. So only people who are going to get mad at us are the people who are against that, who don't want you to connect, who just are looking out for their own pocketbook. All right, so that's it for today. And please, if this helped you, could you comment? Okay, not in the live chat. Could you comment in the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel? Okay, to offset any trolls, people, angry mediums who want you to like give up talking to your loved ones and want you to just keep talking to them. Okay, we don't want to upset people, but I'm not afraid to upset people if it saves somebody's life. Okay, that's what's important, that people are not hurt. That's the only thing. My son knows this, and Ellen knows this. The only thing that I will get literally angry about and stand up and scream at somebody is if they're hurting others unnecessarily. My son is like that too. My son is so easygoing, but if he sees somebody being hurt, like unnecessarily, through somebody's ignorance, stupidity, through their meanness, oh my God, he's like, that's how I am. And that's the only thing. Are there anything else? You can throw your pot shots at me. You can insult me, call me name. I don't get mad at that. I don't care. I know who I am. I know my worth. I don't care. All that just bounces off of me. But you hurt somebody, that's another story. That's just wrong. So we appreciate your support, your positive comments to this video that I think is going to get a lot of mediums angry. And again, the mediums that we don't care that get angry, but we love mediums. We need mediums. Okay. But you are the best medium for your loved one through the veil. And don't let any medium tell you different. They don't know what they're talking about. Because of the bonds of love you share with your loved ones there, you can communicate. It is not hard. You got to get rid of fear, doubt, let go of expectations. It is so easy that's why you're going to doubt it. And they don't want you to know that, because then you would just turn tail and just say, I don't need them anymore. Okay. bless the mediums. If you need to get confirmation, just that they've crossed over, seeing a medium can help you with that. But keep having mediumship readings is going to block your connection, because you're basically stating through your actions that you don't trust what you're picking up, and that's why you keep having a mediumship reading. And the mediums that I know that are legit will even turn people away and say, like one person I know, after the second reading, she tells her client, you know what, I've told you everything I can tell you. You can do this yourself, which is true. That's what Alan says. The most anybody should ideally need is like 2 readings. What more can they tell you? So if you keep going back, you're addicted to mediums. And if you're wanting connection through the veil, you're crippling yourself. Okay. That's just how it is. Thanks, Betty. Betty says, your videos are so real. And that is why so many of us have been sent here. I came from a long line of psychics. And believe me, you and Ellen are the best. Thank you. I'm not saying I'm the best psychic. I'm not even saying I'm medium. Okay. I'm here to teach, and I'm here to activate your own knowing, your own, help you awaken your soul. Because I know that if you awaken your soul, everything comes. You don't need classes. Fine if you go for them, great. But just remember, you already came fully equipped. Just give yourself permission. That's what happened to me without any training. It's like I didn't know, and then everything just opened up because I connected with my soul when I began to channel my guides. So can you. So join us in the academy and learn how to channel your soulmate. That will open you up, by the way. So if you're struggling with that, go in for that. $197 for a year. $197 is like the price of the class we're teaching you, but you get more than that. So go to our website, supernaturallove.com. Ellen was saying, and you'll see it there. You'll see all the information there. It's right there. I am not. Yeah, that's our website, supernaturallove.com. You'll see everything there. The academy, our sessions. One last thing before I go. Spirit just told me, because we've been doing these mini audio readings, and they just told me, they wanted me to tell people, suggested people who doing the mini readings, they want to give you a custom guided attunement for what you need. So some people are struggling with grief or anxiety or fear or whatever, or some people want to develop their clairaudience. They said they want to, because I only work for spirits, so I do what they tell me to do. And I never think of anything myself, to be honest with you. They go, we want to help them activate that. So if you want to have something like that, it's still $39. The price is going to go up soon. Because I record the reading for you. You don't have to come in person, online, or anything. And I can keep it affordable because I fit these sessions in between what I'm doing. So, and sometimes I go for 20 minutes, even longer, because I just let the information come through till it's over. But check it out. Go to our website. Just go to supernaturallove.com. You'll see it, our services. And otherwise, God bless you on your journey. Like, don't believe anything but what your soul tells you. Okay. Trust yourself. This is a time of people taking ownership of their own higher self and their own inner knowing, which you always had. Nobody told you that. That's all. We're just reminding you. All right. Sending you lots of love. Until next time. Bye-bye.